You look at things negatively. You're irritated by people, animal, nature, politics, government, even weather, sounds around you. You can't cope with your feelings and you're having emotional breakdowns. You want to cry or you want to scream or you're getting confined in yourself and trying to get away from the world, trying to get into the country, to go on a hiking in the mountains far away. You're getting fed up with your everyday tasks. You're thinking about the same things and got yourself stuck in some kind of a psychological loop. You can't tune out of your work, or on the contrary, it's hard for you to tune in yourself to your work. You have trouble sleeping, rolling in your bed, getting up, walking. Can't sleep again. You can't turn yourself off in the night. So your thoughts are jumping, you're leaping from one subject to another, and you can't focus yourself on something for a long period of time. Or you're feeling restrained or confusion, you're losing things, forgetting things. Can get yourself together, focus, you're exhausted, getting tired quickly, feeling yourself squeezed out like a lemon. You have a stress. And what stress is initially? In translation from Old French, it means depression. So your central nervous system is depressed. In fact, there is more adequate description. It's nervous tension, too much of worries. Some call it too much of staying in a very fast, speedy processes. So it oscillates like that all the time. So philosophically speaking, one can say that you are chained and not free. And many people think that too much of nervous stress, nervous tension is bad, is harmful. If it's too much of it, that is harmful for your nervous system, and your cortisol goes way up. But in fact, stress is good. Enough nervous tension is useful. That means we're growing, we're maturing, we develop. So in the circumstances of our lives, we withstand that pressure. We're growing, we're developing. But when the stress is chronical, you're constantly under pressure. That means you have to bring your cortisol down to decrease the impact on your nervous system through your senses. That means the information, the data flowing through your brain that it has to process. What one can do with that? Several steps to mitigate the nervous tension for everyone. First thing, sign off from all negative news and reading news. Make it once a week and preferably once a month. Stop looking at other people's stories in social media. Second step, any video you're watching throughout the day, it should be regulated. Not more than 1 hour and a half or 2 at most within one day. Give up a dreadful habit of scrolling the feed in your social media. Our brain sees that as a particular tasks, objectives, through our eyes, through our sensory systems. It processes every video, every image, and when you're leaping from one to another, that means the full cycle of information processing is initiated from start to finish. You don't see that. You're leaping from one to another. So if we take a PC, a laptop, for example, if you launch a program on it, so video you watch or image you watch is the same for your brain. Something is happening, a process is initiated, and when you have a lot of programs running on your computer, the processor can't cope with that. Too many tasks it has to tackle with, and it freezes. What happens with your brain? It's overload. And with the laptop, all you do is a reset. So what can one do with the brain? So there is a problem, and it is known for many when people are always online. So what should one do? Learn to have the detox once a week for a day. You have to shut yourself off from internet, from gadgets, smartphones, social media, being online. A day off, walking with your family, no telephones, live communication at least once a week. This is what is vital for everyone. Number of switching from one image or video to another. There should be very few of those. But how many is very few? That means there are particular periods when you have to invest your attention. So if you have 1 hour, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to tune off from one process, be that watching a video, reading a text. You have to close it, and it takes 20 minutes to tune out from one process and tune into the next one. And when you're doing it like this, what happens with your brain? That's how it looks like on a regular basis. In fact, you can process with high quality, fully and effectively, 4 processes tops for some people, for some, not for everyone. And you're doing it like this, and then you're saying, it's too much for me. I'm too tired. So number of switches should be limited. You choose the information to work with. You've opened a channel, and you research the information, you're making conclusions, and then you having a rest from that. And that's a normal way for your brain to operate. It can be, of course, it can withstand some overload, but not for that long period of time. A list of questions for self-check, for self-control. When you find yourself in some information channel, how exactly this channel is of use to you? The information you find there, is it vital for your everyday tasks and objectives? If not, that means your attention is stolen, your time is stolen. There's a war going on for your attention and time. See, the principle is simple. You are where your attention is, in a nutshell. And therefore, if you jump from one channel to another, your self-conscious is shattered. You're being carried away. Next step is to sign off from feeds, channels, notifications of entertainment character that are of no use to your goals, to your objectives. Everything that helps it, that contributes it, is of use. What you can process, and you have to identify that. Not more than 2 hours, that means 5 or 7 channels, and remove all others. No automatic notifications, because as soon as you see one, you are carried away. It gets in the way of your way to your goals. So it brings no useful information. It's empty, void, so to say. You have to focus on the information that helps you tackling your tasks. Usually the throughput is limited. You have this bulk of information around it. What's happening when you're trying to fit that in? And it can fit in. And what is happening, it is being blown out, literally. And the thinking can't cope. You have problems in your thinking, problems with your memory. Thinking process is basically shattered, It cannot operate normally. Very, very few people have skills to work with huge area of data. The statistic shows it's like 5 or 8 people per 10,000. And this may be an outdated one, and the situation may have become worse. And when you have time to have a rest between working with one information channel and the other, and when you want to tune yourself out, you can look into the window at the nature, listen to the sounds of rain, looking at the candle burning, how the river is running. So watch, observe real events from the real life that help your eyes to rest. You can simply close your eyes and have a rest for a minute or two. Who said? Because basically the eyes is the continuation of your brain, so that the brain would be shut off and relaxed for a couple of minutes, because the systems that are processing information are still running, and you can relax and become calm. Non-obvious reasons of nervous stress in your psyche. First is a diode light, lamps, lighting devices, lighting in your cars, in the streets, laptops, smartphones. Too much of blue light causes agitation in the nervous system. It provokes maximum activity, both in daylight and nighttime. Second is the plugs near you that are located, the sockets that are located near your head. Whatever is in the radius of 70 centimeters around your head, and if there is a lighting device turned on, that's a stress, that's tension. Number 3, lack of darkness, full darkness during your sleep. The sensors we have in this area on our head, even when you close your eyes, they still respond to changes of the lighting in your room where you're sleeping. Noise in the street. Well, so what new can be said about that? But in fact, whatever is heard within the range of 45 decibels during your sleep, that's overload. That means lack of sound isolation causes change of your normal sleeping mode. Next thing, Wi-Fi. Devices on. Level of oxygen. Most of people cannot even imagine that early in the spring, in the autumn, in the winter, lack of oxygen is too much tension for your nervous system. Deficit of oxygen throughout the sleep is a huge cause of stress. So you stumble upon a nervous tension, cortisol goes up. What can one do? What's the best way to tackle it? Is to move. What can you do? Run, walk quickly, squat, pull up, or push up. Have a scream session, even like that. Walking steps, walking staircases, hitting a boxing bag, just not people. Throw a ball into a basket. Release the stress. Physical activity starting with 45 minutes that would bring your cortisol down or would eventually remove it out of your system. Rhythmical movements that should align with your rhythm, And maybe you could doing it like this, fidgeting. So, particular rhythmical movement that you pick yourself. You can move some kind of beads or balls, or having a toothpick in your mouth, roll it in your mouth. So that's a particular rhythm, a frequency that helps you to get yourself back. But you need to physically move. Having a toothpick in your mouth wouldn't solve the problem. Only physical movement. There is no other way. If you're in a critical condition, you can have a deep breath, 20 seconds for inhale and 20 seconds for exhale, For 20 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, inhale. and 20 seconds for exhaling. If you have managed to bring the cortisol down, you can fix the result. You know, you can have a hot bath, make a foot massage, make yourself a foot massage. If you know how to use needles, or and you can have a needle therapy session, and you have a diode lamp, and you know that there is a problem with, you know that it's harmful for your nervous system, you pick a regular, standard diode lamp and you paint it with orange. Then we take any lamp cover, put it there, and basically what we have with these things, 7.5 watts. So we have optimal lighting for you. So regular night lamp, or you can have a t-shirt and have a mask, CO2 sensor. I wouldn't make any advertisements. That's just one of many. So you would know for sure that you are running out of oxygen in your room. And the simplest way, buying goggles at AliExpress and use it for walking when you're working at a laptop, or when you're looking something in your smartphone. And of course, LabCo's device. I would recommend it highly for everyone before going to sleep at night. Have a session with it. It's basically made of needles attached to a rubber carpet.